happy belated Turkey Day. And by the time you're hearing this, I'm sure all the deals have left the stores. There will never be another sale for another 365 or 3 days.
Gobble, gobble, mother truckers. Did you see any good Black Friday deals that you were interested in?
That I was interested in? Nothing crazy. There are a couple things where I was like, maybe, but nothing that made me go, ooh, buy.
Yeah. I think Black Friday's dead for the most part.
Well, I mean, you and I are both numb to it.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
We are what I would consider intelligent people, which is a long shot, fairly.
Experienced people in some regards.
Yes, that would also work. But like we know the game.
Yeah. It's game.
Almost nothing. 95%, I would say, of the stuff that you're going to get on Black Friday is the same price or cheaper throughout the rest of the year.
Yes.
Sure, there are a couple things that are specific, but usually those things are trash.
Mm-hmm.
Certain TV sales looking at you.
Yep.
But otherwise, I mean, it just, be more aware throughout the year and you'll be all right.
Yeah. That's accurate. That is accurate. And also you have to factor in, the price of your time and comfort.
Ah, yes.
It might be $5 cheaper on that day, but is it worth the effort?
Is it worth the people?
No, never. Really never.
Absolutely not.
I'll generally pay more money
to not deal with the people.
To not deal with people.
If you tell me it's $5 more online, but I get it sent to my house, okay.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not gonna.
Oh, but you could have saved money. That's the gallon of gas that I had to use to get down and back. Like,
yeah. That's the hour of discontent that I won't have to deal with.
That's me not wanting to plunge your eyes out with a wooden spoon.
Exactly. And with that life advice, this is the Gamers 2 podcast, your weekly roundup of news and commentary related to the video game industry and anything else that might pique our interests.
Such as
new video games, I would imagine.
Yeah, believe it or not, there actually were some.
It's, you know what? It's going to be a weird week. Not weird week. Weird episode. I wouldn't say weird. Just scaled down. People were taking a holiday.
It's a holiday episode.
Yeah, holiday episode.
So we're not going to take too much of your time.
No. Well, we could slip in a little World Cup recap.
We could.
Or something like that.
We could slip in Nate's WoW expansion prep.
Yeah, there we go. Boom. There it is.
We can slip in anything else that I am interested in that you want to talk about with me for a while. And then when we reach match interest, I'm sure we'll be in the Pacific Theater and we'll talk about that.
Or it'll just be like, nothing.
Anyway, new releases starting at number 1, Evil West for the PC, PlayStation, and Xbox.
Is the East good?
Yet to be determined. Number 2, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach for the Xbox. Number 3, Gungrave Gore, PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Number 4, Just Dance 2023. And if you were on top of it when it came out, it was half price off if you bought like the download only edition already.
It'll never die.
But here's what's interesting, Matt. What's it out for?
Is this supposed to be next gen or no PC?
Yeah. And no Wii U,
no Wii,
Wii, no 3DS.
They're just down
Stadia.
down to the core
PlayStation
consoles.
5, Series X, Xbox One, and Switch.
No PS4?
No, man, we're moving forward.
Oh my god.
I know, right? It's crazy. And it's Ubisoft, so that's why it's even crazier. Ship of Fools, which is the precursor to Skull and Bones. On PC.
It's Skull and Bones codename.
On PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and the Switch. Number 6 is Dystera on the PC. And number 7 is Horse Club Adventures 2 Hazelwood Stories for the PlayStation. Hell yeah. Horse Stories.
Horse Stories. Hazelwood Stories.
I got some horse stories.
I have a one or two. Not
And
a
when I
lot.
say I have horse stories, I mean fucking nah.
I have some horse stories. Nah, we won't get into it. Horses. Horse, of course.
Why do you have horse stories?
Oh, my grandparents. Big horse people.
Oh, okay. I don't think I have like any real horse stories. I think the only time, sorry, but you got giant knots. The only time that I've really like ever been around horses, not counting like the state fair, because I mean, does that really count? You know what I mean? Was my buddy's grandparents had horses up north.
Yeah.
So while we were up there, we'd be around them or whatever. But I don't. This is where I'm gonna find out later that like
Yeah.
I
You'll
have a
hear-
story that
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't remember because I Christopher Reeve myself and like got handicapped off the back of a horse.
I generally am afraid of large animals that could kill me very quickly.
One kick,
Yeah.
deuces.
Yep.
You out.
They're no joke. Like, I think the size that I'm okay with is like,
Donkey.
yeah, like deer size.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like,
something that I feel
"Ah."
like if I needed to, I could put you in a headlock.
Yeah, like I could defend myself. I know
Yeah.
deer are like crazy
Yeah.
and they could kill you. But,
I
you
feel,
know, like I feel more
better-
confident.
Yeah, I feel better in the fight than I do against a horse.
Yeah,
I agree
horse,
with that.
you're done.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, it's just doesn't like you. It doesn't
There
like
was
you.
How far can I segue this into the conversation that I just was thinking about?
I mean, you don't
Oh,
have
we
to.
were talking about things like that I just don't know and I find out later.
Mhm.
I don't remember this. My parents will probably tell you that they definitely remember it. But I was at my grandmother's for Thanksgiving, and we're talking with my aunt, uncle, and my grandmother, and they have the door to the house is a really heavy door
Mhm.
that the whole whenever we were kids, I remember it was always like, "Don't get your finger caught," yada yada yada. I apparently got my ear caught in it. According to my grandmother, I don't remember this at all.
I just was trying to do some quick simulations in my head about how you get an ear caught in a door.
Big ears, small head, I don't know.
All right.
Being
Ear,
stupid and just like leaning
door.
around somewhere I shouldn't, I don't know. But-
Interesting.
She said that it happened. She's like, "Oh yeah, that happened. It was not pretty or whatever." And I was like, "I don't remember this at all."
You probably just, blocked it out of your memory because it's just too
I mean,
emotionally damaging.
My aunt and uncle forgot that I had broken my back,
Mm-hmm.
and my cousins were like, "Oh yeah, no, I remember that, yeah," because they were all here for when it was graduation 5 days after I did it. But I was like, "Slam my." Why was my ear in the door? And I just like, I don't remember that at all. And she's like, "Oh yeah, wasn't pleasant." I was just like, I don't. So now I'm gonna get a text of like, "Oh yeah, no, yeah, you 100% did that." I'm like, sure. At this point, yeah, whatever you say, because I don't remember.
Ear and door.
I
I'm
did-
not
I-
looking forward to like those types of things. Like
Oh,
today, we have the Alex drawers from IKEA in our
Yeah.
office.
Yeah.
And we generally try to keep the little one out of the office because like it's just kind of like it's got a lot of shit in there. It's got the,
well, and he's a grabber.
yeah, he is. He's handsy. So
The first word I use to describe your son, handsy.
handsy. So he gets in there and he starts opening the drawers and looking in them, and then but he doesn't just like
Yeah, he doesn't
slide them shut.
yeah.
He like forcefully slams them shut. And I'm like, you're gonna get a finger caught in there. It's gonna be real painful. And like literally 30 seconds later, he slams his finger in the drawer.
Yep.
And obviously all hell breaks loose. And
Did you
I'm
hit him
just
with
like-
the "I told you so"?
yeah, and then he immediately runs over to my wife's Alex drawer and starts doing the same thing. I was like, oh, her drawer hasn't offended you yet.
Yeah,
And then like almost immediately he almost did it again, and like Samantha snatches his hand out of the way
just the
because they're dumb.
What
They're
do you
dumb.
think was gonna happen?
They don't realize that both hands are connected.
Yeah.
So you
Or
slam.
that two things of the same exact make would do the same
Yeah.
exact scenario.
Yeah, he doesn't realize that when he's slamming the drawer shut with his right hand,
His
that his
hand's
left
still in
hand
it.
might also be in it.
Yeah, that is a problem.
So
I did appreciate his dance moves.
oh yeah, the big
He's got-
dancing, a lot of dancing this weekend.
He's got a lot of vibes with a little Daft Punk going on.
He does. I actually just right before this, I got a text message from Samantha saying that he was losing his shit and that like she couldn't figure out what he wanted and like, you know, he was upset and he kept asking. He knows some signing, and finally he asked for music, which is this.
Oh, okay.
And she like handed him her phone and was like, "Do you want Daft Punk?" And he does this for yes. He like aggressively shakes his head up and down. And so she put the music on the TV, and he stopped crying and was happy. So I don't know. He just likes to dance.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're telling me that we just get to all jam out to some Daft Punk? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Turn it up.
Else.
This meeting's about to get lit. My baby wants to listen to Daft Punk, so guess what? While these numbers scroll on the PowerPoint behind me, Greyhound's playing.
Yeah, Greyhound and then Daft Punk. He's huge fans of. And classical music. Weird. I don't know.
He's your kid.
He's just.
I mean, that is very like right there. Like, have you played him Phantom yet?
Yeah, I did actually. It came up on my phone when we were up in his room before bedtime once, and he was a big fan of it.
Which one was
it?
Was it the main overture or was it?
I think it was Masquerade.
Oh, okay, that would make sense. That's your favorite. So
I think it just popped up. But yeah, good stuff.
Anyway,
yeah. Where were we?
We are at story number 1 that
All
you are going to take over.
Okay, number 1.
Rockstar Games.
Odds. Rockstar Games has put their stamp of approval on third-party roleplay servers with some caveats. The company said that under publisher Take-Two's legal enforcement policy, some actions and behavior will not be allowed. One section covered what Rockstar referred to as, quote, commercial exploitation, end quote. Players are not permitted to sell loot boxes for real-world currency or GTA's virtual money, sell other virtual currencies, or integrate cryptocurrencies and crypt assets such as NFTs. Players are also not allowed to generate revenue from the servers via in-game integrations or corporate sponsorships. Both Rockstar and Take-Two will also clamp down on misuse of Rockstar's intellectual property and trademarks, importing and misusing other IP, including characters owned by other companies, real-world brands, trademarks, and even music, making new games, stories, missions, or maps for GTA Online, interfering with the official multiplayer servers and online services that Rockstar operates, including, their online games. So, their normal, a company's normal rigmarole of like, don't mess with our shit or where we get our money from.
Right, which that's to be expected as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't want to say I'm surprised, but I'm a little surprised because normally like the default is to just say no. No, you can't do that.
Right. I think NoPixel got too big for them to just say no.
Yeah.
So they had to put in legal caveats of like, don't do this.
Yeah. Just a lot of it too seems to be protecting themselves
mainly,
and then also protecting their income, which obviously like they can sell you
whatever they want.
Yeah, they can sell you whatever they want, but you can't sell that stuff to people.
Yeah, not trying to have some weird secondary market.
Yeah.
Number 2, on the business side of things, the theme this week seemed to consist of developing the Asian markets. Nico Partners' new 2022 Asia 10 Games Market Report projects that by 2026, the Asia 10 gaming markets will hit $41 billion in consumer spending. The Asia 10 consists of Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, Chinese Taipei, Japan, Korea, and India. The report estimates that for 2022, spending will reach $36 billion. Japan's and Korea's market make up 77% of the Asian 10's gaming revenue. It notes that India is the second largest gaming audience worldwide, and it makes up 50% of the Asia 10 player base. Also note that this does not include China. I think it's safe to say we're going to see a heavy focus on Asian-centric games going forward, or at least Asian-designed.
Yes. And speaking of, here's a roundup of moves some companies are making to develop those markets, specifically China in this instance. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? There's a lot of China news too about, what the fuck was it?
WoW.
Yeah, that was it. WoW.
Or, well, Blizzard specifically.
Mm-hmm. Sony has made plans to expand on a program set up to fuel game development in China. PlayStation China Hero Project seeks to invest over $140,000 each into individual projects being made in the country. I think that's an interesting approach. It's almost like let's build up all the indie projects. And like I guess I kind of see it as an interesting way to just develop game development. Sounds kind of dumb.
Sure, yeah. No, I know what you mean, though. And it's also funny considering it's Sony, who has a larger presence anyway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Riot Games will be refocusing Wild Rift esports in Asia next year, abandoning other territories. Riot president of esports John Needham said that the decision was motivated by the Asian continent being the, quote, biggest and most active mobile esports market in the world, end quote.
That checks out.
It does. I could not tell you. I didn't even know really that mobile esports was a thing.
Well, that's also for you.
Yeah.
Like that just tracks for you.
Yeah, for sure. But, generally, I'll know something exists even if I'm,
You know what used to happen to me a lot?
What's that?
Twitch Sunday mornings.
Okay, where you go on Twitch on Sunday morning?
Yeah. Like, just I'd be, logging in. All right, let's see throw something up on my other screen. Open up Twitch, and I would see some type of random ass mobile esport competition happening. I was like, what the fuck is this?
What does that look like? Them on a phone?
Yeah. Sometimes they are as such, literally just at a table facing each other on their phones. There was one guy that was playing with like his feet up.
Interesting.
And I was like, what the hell is... It was weird.
Interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that develops, the whole idea of mobile esports. And I'm
just sitting in a park. Hold on, man. I'm in a tournament.
Yeah. It'll also be interesting to see how the Asian markets influence the greater video game industry. Like, obviously, we'll probably see a lot of more like Wukong style games, things that are
That's still not even out yet.
I know. A lot of games that are just Asian themed as far as cultural. But yeah, I digress. I'm interested.
I'm intrigued to see where it leads us.
Yeah, and they also there's like clearly a different. Well, yeah, it makes sense. They're different cultures, so they kind of approach the idea of a game differently as well. So we might get some interesting like.
That's what I'm more interested about.
Yeah, like game mechanics and game styles.
See, are things going to suffer or be better for it?
Yeah. Is there going to be this like inevitable like rift between like Eastern Western styles? Like, are they going to
more than there is now?
Are we going to get some hybrid stuff right off the bat? Like,
yes. One could call it the Pacific Theater of games. I don't know. I don't know that you can do that without some type of backlash.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to number 4. Ubisoft is the latest publisher to return to Steam after taking a break and trying to bang other game stores. As spotted by Eurogamer, the company has created a Steam page for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which will release on December 6th. Other titles confirmed to be heading to Steam include Anno 1800 and Roller Champions, although neither have release dates. Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be the first Ubisoft title to release on Steam since Starlink Battle for Atlas in April of 2019. Anybody that remembers that game, you worked in retail. Valve still takes a 30% revenue share compared to Epic's 12%. And Ubisoft has their own launcher as well. So they learned put things everywhere.
Yeah, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Or in 2 baskets.
Yeah.
When 3 is available.
Yep.
And 3 happens to be the really, really popular one.
That's what I'm assuming they probably someone did some accounting or did some calculations somewheres and said, hey, we're losing out on sales because we don't have this game in other places.
Yeah, and it's funny when they're like, oh, we have release dates of Valhalla happening on December 6th, and we don't know when the other ones are. When the other ones have been on PC and like existing for a year. What?
Yeah, like what goes into... Can't you just like port it over? Like say, I don't know. I don't know how it works.
I don't know. Seeing how anytime you used to download anything from Steam that was an Ubisoft game. It would just download it, then launch Ubisoft,
Yeah.
and then launch the game. So isn't your entire store page just a fucking redirect?
We gotta pay that intern nothing to
To do
make the
redirects?
Steam page.
You say that intern like it's not Yves Guillemot on his fucking personal computer doing it.
That would explain a lot. Number 5, Rebel Wolves announced that it's secured an investment from NetEase Games. The game studio was co-founded back in February by former CD Projekt executive Konrad Tomaskiewicz, something Polish that's long. NetEase's new investment amount wasn't disclosed, but the deal also includes a minority stake in the game development. Rebel Wolves said that it will maintain full creative control and ownership of its IP. Additionally, it will continue to operate independently. The game studio is currently developing a narrative-focused dark fantasy RPG. Interessante. NetEase.
Doing a lot lately.
NetEase doing a lot lately, and then we have a lot of these. There's a lot of trends going on. You got a lot of these little breakaway companies, little breakaway developers from some of the bigger, well-regarded developers, and they all are getting funding from larger companies. And like this is a perfect instance where it's like the investment is not disclosed, but it's a minority stake in the developer. And the developer is keeping all the creative control and ownership of the IP. So it's almost like it's interesting because it's almost like, all right, we're going to let you do your thing. But if you fail, we have a minority stake in the company and we will just like absorb you. And then we'll have your talent. And
it's the beginning of the collecting of the power crystals.
Yeah, exactly.
Just hush, 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 hush. Come over here. Don't worry, I'll take care of you, little guy. Happy to see you back on the farm.
Come do my evil bidding.
Number 6, the Federal Trade Commission is reportedly considering filing an antitrust lawsuit against Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Politico reports that a potential suit could be underway as soon as next month and may seek to block the record-breaking deal, according to sources familiar with the matter. Sources reportedly told Politico that the FTC's 4 commissioners are yet to vote on a complaint or meet with lawyers, but the bulk of the investigation has been completed. Staff tasked with reviewing Microsoft's case for the deal to go ahead are described as skeptical, however. A lawsuit is not guaranteed at this point, and the FTC has not made an official announcement yet. So this is a whole story about a lot of potentially nothing.
Yep. Basically, and number
Lobbying.
7, directly related to that, in the backdrop of the previous story, Sony and Microsoft continue to sling mud. Let's cover some of it. Microsoft argues that both Nintendo and Steam have been able to compete despite not having Call of Duty content on their platforms. Sony counters that Nintendo has a different business model and audience. Microsoft says it does view Nintendo as a competitor, even highlighted the recent release of Bayonetta 3 to counter the idea that Nintendo is a family-oriented business. I love the constant back and forth. They should just like have just a straight debate. Traditional debate, Phil Spencer, Jim Ryan?
Sure. But I want it in a UFC cage match.
Okay. Not a traditional debate. Okay. Got it.
They can still debate while they're not punching each
Hell
other.
in a Cell.
But I want the option for them to have to hit each other.
Okay.
Like they can debate, but if one of them wants to punch the other one, they're full clear. We're not stopping it.
Okay. So it's like
Debate in a cell.
WWE No Holds Barred. Is that what it was called? Or the ones where they could like go anywhere and do anything.
Yeah, no hope. I mean, yeah.
There it is. Microsoft insists that game subscriptions are not a market, but simply a means of payment and should not be a factor in the CMA's decision. CMA is in the UK's, is it commission? I wrote it down somewhere. So hold on. Competition and Markets Authority. CMA. Where was I? Sony disagrees. It says that subscriptions are an alternative to the buy-to-play model, which in turn can influence consumers' choice on which hardware or cloud service they go with. Microsoft's rebuttal to that: Sony's subscription service has double the amount of users as Microsoft's. The old back and forth. Battlefield has been constantly getting thrown under the bus for sucking. Sony says creating a competitor to Call of Duty is simply unrealistic. It uses EA and Battlefield as proof of the challenge of competing with Call of Duty. EA has for many years tried to compete with Call of Duty, Sony says, but as of August 2021, Battlefield has sold 88.7 million units, compared with Call of Duty's 400 million copies. Sony discusses Microsoft's structural advantage in terms of its cloud abilities due to its Azure cloud service and its Windows PC business. Microsoft counters this by revealing that its cloud service currently doesn't use Azure, and it isn't accessible via Windows either. According to a report published by the New York Times, Microsoft offered Sony a 10-year deal to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation earlier this month. Any strong feelings?
It's funny that they don't use Azure for their own stuff.
Yeah.
Well, in this specific instance.
I also thought that was interesting.
I just like that they're like, well, what about this? And they're like, we don't even use it. They're like, okay, but this. And they're like, no.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have to get real creative depending on how you want to pigeonhole me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that kind of makes sense. They probably have something that's tangentially related, but not connected to. You know what I mean? Like, they probably have something that's similar, but isolated.
Yeah. When they're like, oh, and then the subscriptions are like, you guys have more people paying than we do.
Yeah.
What are you on about?
Yeah. The 10-year deal thing is funny because you know how, like, all through all of this, Sony has been really quick to respond to everything that Microsoft says.
Yeah.
But this came out and Sony has been like fucking mum. Like, they've not said a word about it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what more? Like,
because if you say no, what do you do?
From a company, exactly. From a company, from like a business standpoint, like that's Microsoft saying like, we'll give you what you want. A 10-year deal for the game industry. That's pretty long.
Yeah. And if you remember correctly, the last one screwed everybody over.
Yeah. So Sony just being like, we're not gonna, we'll just ignore that happen.
Huh? What? Mail went to the neighbor.
Yeah. Exactly. We didn't get that email. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Are you sure you emailed the right person? Like, yeah. I hand delivered it to Jim Ryan.
That's funny. I don't know. I'm surprised. Like, I'm surprised.
I'm over it. Can I say that?
Yeah, that's fair. Sucks to be you. Gotta talk about
it. Fuck, you got me.
I'm surprised how against it the authorities seem to be. Like, we don't really know, but there does seem to be a lot of they're really looking into it pretty hard, and then like all the leaks and rumors and everything point to like all these different regulatory bodies being like, we don't really like this.
I wonder if it's a bunch of, and I mean, this is just going to be me tinfoil hatting.
Yeah, that's fine.
A bunch of grandkids and kids of said people in seats that are reading dumb clickbait news articles that say that Call of Duty will be an Xbox exclusive, and I can't have that because I own a PlayStation.
Yeah.
And so then here we go.
Yeah, the one thing that's not in here, but one of the Activision Blizzard executive VPs of what was it? She was the executive VP of she is the executive VP of was it like commercial something? I don't know, whatever. She basically was like on Twitter commenting on things because there was also a report that was released by the UK's competition and market authorities as well about the deal. But she basically was like, we're ready to go to court over this. Everybody's like, we're willing to fight very hard over this.
Yeah.
And I think that like obviously the regulatory bodies are one thing. But I think if this went to court and started to get really picked into and torn apart, I don't think you pick this apart, look at all the numbers and say, oh, Sony can't survive if Call of Duty's not
Yeah.
on.
That's very much where I look at it, where it's like you're on a ticking time bomb of you have to try to get them to abandon it before it ever goes to court. But if you ever reach the point where you somehow try to get them to abandon it, they're just going to put you in court and you're going to lose.
Yeah.
The moment, like you're saying, the moment any of that gets picked apart, you're screwed. They have more buts in their camp than you can issue attacks on them.
I don't know if it's in here. I'm looking for something that was said real quick. Maybe I didn't put it in here, but I read it in part of the article or something like that. But one of the I can't remember if it was the US's regulatory body, FTC, or if it was the UK's Competition and Market Authority. One of them, and I'm leaning towards FTC. It's UK. One of them is only 4 people who make the decision.
Never mind, I think that's FTC. You mentioned UK later, so that's why I was telling you to go to the UK. I'm pretty sure that's the FTC. Yeah, 4 commissioners.
Yep. So,
yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, it is. Wild, wacky roller coaster. But again, if Sony wants to win, you can't go to court.
Yeah.
Sony has to keep attempting to... Sony has to keep attempting to get the public on their side, which they're notoriously one of the worst at doing.
Yeah, their only option I think realistically, their only option is to get Microsoft and Activision to abandon the deal. But if it goes beyond that, like,
because they're not going to abandon it.
Yeah. And like the regulatory bodies can say that they don't want the deal to happen, but then Microsoft and Activision would just take it to court. They would sue them over the outcome, and then it'd be like a year-long thing, and then we'd all just find out that they're going forward with it anyways because it doesn't hold up in court.
Yeah.
So.
Well. Number 8.
And Nate will be like, finally, we're done with this.
Yeah. Yeah. For another year of it, mind you, that you will have to go through this with us. I'm in Spain without the S. All right. Number 8. Not much going on this week, so let's throw out a rumor section as if this first few weren't already that. Riot has posted new job ads specifically for a console version of Valorant, including a senior game designer and design manager. The successful candidates will develop, quote, a vision for combat in Valorant on consoles, unquote, and design and refine features, models, and systems to help bring console products to market. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Especially now that they did the whole Riot Pass on Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Makes sense. As reported by Tom Henderson on Insider Gaming, a new AAA project based on the Alien franchise is in the works by Grasshopper Manufacturer, the No More Heroes series developer. Not much else is known about this game other than the fact that it will be a survival horror game in the vein of Resident Evil and Dead Space. And we will see you again in 4 years. The same source has also said that an Alien Isolation sequel is either in development or is currently being pitched. The developer behind the game wasn't given, but presumably Creative Assembly could be working on the project. And again, 4 years.
Yes.
Netflix is apparently working on a AAA third-person action role-playing game. Job listings have revealed some details. The targeted platform is PC, quote, with an eventual goal of providing close-camera, high-fidelity melee combat, end quote. All job openings make it clear that the AAA action RPG will be developed using Unreal Engine. So this might be Netflix's first foray into an actual game.
For sure.
ZeniMax Online creative director Ben Jones said he has been working on their new game for roughly 4.5 years now. The high-level lore and story overview beats were there before he even joined the team. ZeniMax Online currently has nearly 200 developers working on what Jones described as a very large-scope project, and it is a new IP. Ooh, interesting.
Another MMO.
Yep. Multiple insiders are reporting that Star Wars Jedi Survivor will make an appearance at the Game Awards. No shit. The heads of Sony Honda Mobility, which was established in September, told the Financial Times that they plan to use music, movies, and gaming to build electric cars. The president said that it was technologically possible. Why did I say that word so weird? To integrate the PS5 platform into their cars. So you can now say, yes, my car runs like a PS5.
I am so interested to see how a Sony Honda vehicle comes out.
Integra N. Just
It'll be something. It'll be something.
carry your air cans with you so you can blow out the fans. Hot damn, our first next generation console rumor based on some statements related to the Microsoft Sony fight. Sony is expecting PlayStation 6 around 2028. With no Call of Duty. Losers.
Suck it. That was the whole thing. It was a back and forth, and like Sony was like, or Microsoft's like, oh, we'll give you this amount of time, and Sony's like, oh, with that amount of time, we'd have to launch the PlayStation 6 with no Call of Duty. And it was like 2028. There it is.
Like, well, you played yourselves.
You played yourself. All right, now we got our short things. Like Venus.
Short things.
Via the UK's Competition and Market Authority report, each Call of Duty has a budget of over. You want to take a guess?
Over.
Over what? It's a number.
Oh.
I'm asking for a number.
I thought we were going over under.
Call of Duty's budget. Each Call of Duty's budget.
I already read that one.
Oh,
I know.
shit.
Sorry, I know what the number is.
Over $300 million.
That's where I thought you were gonna say, and then when you said 4, that's why I.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry.
No,
I
it's
ruined the
It's
fun.
fine.
No, sorry. That's the only one I read though.
I don't think there's any good fun ones.
All right,
we
well.
got some more with numbers. The
But
French
still 300. That's all.
That's a lot of money. It's a big fucking budget
That's
for everyone. It's that they were specific. Each Call of Duty
yeah.
has a budget of over $300 million. All right, so
That's 3 since 2019. By the
Mhm.
way, that's almost $1 billion since 2019 into developing Call of Duties.
I would love to see a breakdown of where the budget money goes. Like how much is marketing? Or is marketing even included in that budget? Just be insane.
I feel like they're probably not splitting out Warzone.
No, I would agree. It's probably included in there.
So
I mean, if that didn't include Warzone, then what the fuck? Like
1.5 billion in the last 3 years.
Holy shit, so much money. The French government has extended its video games tax credit scheme for an additional 6 years and revamped it to be more streamlined.
I like this. I like that it's a scheme.
Scheming.
Taxes and
Ireland.
schemes. Name a better combo.
Ireland unveiled the tax credit for digital games, a new option for developers in the country to subsidize costs.
Irish looking like the French.
Yeah. Europe getting in on that video games. NetEase has invested in a Norwegian fitness gaming startup called Play Pulse. Their first product is an exercise bike. How much is it going to cost, Nate?
Oh man, Peloton numbers.
Peloton numbers.
Oh, $7K.
$1,600
Oh, that's not Peloton numbers. We're fine.
for
Peloton numbers are like $5K.
Are they that expensive?
I say that with no confidence, but Pelotons are stupidly expensive.
I think $1,600 for an exercise bike is stupidly expensive.
Oh, I agree with you. I think that's moronic, but
But that's also the first, like, the early adopters price.
no.
So-
So it goes up.
Yeah.
$2,000 by the end of it.
Yep. Users can play customized games with mechanics tied to the user's pedaling.
Yeah. So like
It's Peloton, essentially, but for games.
yeah. So just do that.
Yeah.
Just partner with Peloton and like make some games. What?
I don't know. The UK's Competition and Market Authority has launched a full market investigation into Apple's restrictions against cloud gaming services on iOS. God of War Ragnarok has sold, do you know how many copies?
Ooh. I'm gonna guess
Since its release.
since its release. So let's say 2.
That can't be right. No, okay, I'm missing it. Yeah, I'm missing. I missed the decimal point.
Oh, there's a 12 million. I'll say it's some crazy number.
5.1 million.
All right, yeah, I was way off.
I didn't put a decimal point in it, and I read it at 51 million. I was like, that's way wrong.
I'm pretty sure if it had sold 12 million, I would have 110% heard about that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still pretty good though.
As you'd expect, fastest selling first
for
party game.
Not being out a month yet, that's cranking.
Yeah.
Going back to the bike thing.
Yes, bike.
What Peloton and Cycling Manager 2023, like match made in heaven.
Yeah.
You get to have a coach who yells at your 4 cyclists, one to speed up and pass the other one. So they have to take that little energy gel and then do a sprint essentially to pass a bunch of Tour de France racers. But it's right there. It's free money.
I think that I'm waiting for like one of these companies to come out with like a subscription doping service.
Oh, Russia's already there. I guarantee somewhere in Russia, you can probably sign up to get your $10 box a month to keep your cycle up. And if you pay to like $20 a month, you get the one that doesn't actually destroy you. Like, hey, make sure you take this every Monday, and then take these to balance out your organs in between.
Yes, that's the type of shit I'm thinking. It was like,
yeah.
You send them like a blood sample and a urine sample or something every month, and then they micro adjust it.
They micro adjust
and like
you.
They have these workouts you have to do, and like you got to inject these things at these times.
Yeah, 100%. It's like Loot Crate, but for steroids.
Exactly. I mean, maybe we're onto something here. Get some. I have no chemistry background, but
we gotta cook. You and I in a van. Who's gonna ask questions?
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are the fastest selling video games that have ever been released on Nintendo consoles. The latest generation of Pokemon titles sold. Do you know how many copies it sold?
10
million copies, including physical and digital sales, in just 72 hours.
And it runs like shit.
It's kind of crazy.
And it looks like shit. And it runs and looks like shit.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier because I saw this but I've also been seeing how it's terrible. So like I'm like, this is conflicting. But apparently the game itself is good, but it runs terribly and it looks terrible as well. Is the consensus I have been informed of.
Looks terrible, runs terrible. Apparently it's still fun if you can get past that. Apparently has memory leak issues, so you don't want to leave it running. You need to like kind of close it every now and then and restart it. And it looks bad.
Interesting. Nintendo. What are we gonna do with you? Star Wars Squadrons is free on Epic Game Store until the end of the month.
Yeah, you can go flying.
Some of Square Enix Montreal's mobile games will be permanently removed from app stores at the start of 2023. Deus Ex Go, Space Invaders, Hidden Heroes, Arena Battle Champions, and Hitman Sniper The Shadows, which launched earlier this year, will shut down on January 4th.
R.I.P. Little early, I guess.
Yeah.
Premature R.I.P.
Yeah. This is a weird one. A Splinter Cell audio drama is coming to BBC Radio 4 next month.
What does that mean?
Radio drama.
But in Splinter Cell?
Yeah. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Firewall is an 8-part series starring the game's protagonist, Sam Fisher. It revolves around a mission to recruit and train a new generation of operatives for the National Security Agency's Cover Action Division. BBC Radio 4.
But, like, why is that not just the next game? Like, that's
Ubisoft can't make games.
But that's what people would want. Old Man Fisher, recruiting new people. Essentially, we run back Metal Gear 5.
All right.
With less weird shit.
So, clearly, this is going to be out first. My next question is, what comes out next? The Netflix project that they're working on? Or the actual remake? Or whatever?
Netflix.
Yeah, okay.
It's not a question.
Yeah, it's not really a good question.
Sorry. Did you involve Ubisoft in any of the options? The other one.
Some of these radio dramas are actually pretty good, so it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Or maybe we won't even hear about it. I don't know.
We won't hear about it. The only reason we'll hear about it is because you checked up on it, or some random news site when you were gathering articles had the surprisingly good tag on the headline.
It's gonna be like,
could this
should have been the next game? Like,
or could this be the next game? Could this be the prologue to the next Splinter Cell video game?
Speaking of garbage, Need for Speed Unbound gameplay footage has leaked online. It looks just like the other Need for Speed games, and the story seems just as cringy.
Dude, it looks bad.
It does look bad. Looks like the gameplay's not good.
It looks bad, and it looks like they just reskinned Heat.
Yeah. It looks like it's a reskin of Heat.
I still can already tell I'm not going to like how it drives.
Worse driving.
Yeah, worse driving / still just the same bad driving, because I haven't liked their driving in like 4 Need for Speeds.
They tacked on a mod that basically gives you like fucking graphic novel style like animation.
Oh, look, here's some weird like smoke clouds or whatever. I'm like, I don't care. This is DLC for Heat.
Yeah.
This you'll pick up what I'm putting down here. Need for Speed Unbound is to Heat what Battlefield Hardline is to 3.
Same engine, same everything, just reskin.
Yep. Which literally should have been DLC on the original one, but they released it as another game.
Yep. Hardline. Forgot about that one.
Yeah. Remember playing Quaps and Wabas?
Yeah.
You a Quap? I'm just happy because you know the reference. Nobody else is going to understand that.
GPU shipments in Q3 2022 decreased by 25.1% compared to Q3 of 2021. The biggest drop since the 2009 recession.
But like,
do you want to tell us why, Nate?
Isn't it obvious?
They're too expensive.
Yeah, but that's shipments. When does Q3 end?
It's compared year to year, though.
I know. When does Q3 end?
We're in Q4 now.
Right. So, bear with me for the quick assumptions of math really fast.
I mean, it ended
September,
October, I would assume.
Perfect. Bear with me.
Yes.
We're going to do some calendar math on a virtual thing that you can't see that's in my head for this.
Are you going to relate it to the crypto thing?
No.
Okay.
Last year.
Yes.
Considered chip shortage.
Yes.
Year before that. Considered chip shortage.
Yeah.
Lies, whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to work with a little bit of trickle-down chip shortages.
Yeah.
Which is going to put us into an announcement year. So year over year, in Q3, as you're ramping to send a bunch of your new stuff, why would you send anything in Q3? Knowing you're going to have to send you're not going to send any of the old stuff. You're not shipping 30 series in Q3, knowing you have to do 3 times the shipping.
Actually,
and actually, to continue with what you're thinking, they shipped all those 30 series in Q2 and Q1. They were loading boats as fast as they could. That's why stores all of a sudden were full during Q3 of all this overstock. They weren't shipped here. They had already been shipped in theory and were just sitting around waiting to be loaded on.
Yeah.
But then, they're not going to do any shipping in Q3 because Q4 that we're in now is when they need to start pumping the 40 series and I don't remember what AMD number we're on. 7,000 series? No.
They're not out yet.
But whenever they come out, like
they should have shipped. I don't know how that fucking works. They'll come out in December.
But yeah, like we're flying into Q4, pump, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that turns out. So I don't know if
I am surprised it's the lowest since the recession.
I don't know if you've been following the sales for NVIDIA's 40 series.
Not drastically.
But they did not sell out, which is kind of especially the 4080, because obviously it's a bad fucking deal, but which is crazy considering how things have been. The Callisto Protocol Season Pass will include extra death animations. People are upset about that.
It's weird that they have a season pass.
I agree. People are upset that the Season Pass includes animations. And it's like, why, it's the age-old question. Why aren't those in the game?
Why aren't they in the game, and why do you, for a single-player story horror game, have a season pass? If the season pass isn't just, hey, here's some DLC, at which point, no, you still shouldn't have one.
Yeah, I don't know. The creator did say that, these animations don't even exist yet. We haven't even started working on them, so whatever. Call of Duty Warzone 2.0 has reached 25 million players in its first 5 days. I don't know if those are impressive numbers. I feel like...
I mean, they sound impressive.
They do, but it's Warzone. So,
yeah, I know.
It's not like you can choose not to play Warzone 2.0 when they release Warzone 2.0.
Exactly. So that's where I don't even know if they're impressive.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what to make of this. Like,
that's just numbers to numbers. That's like the same thing with the Overwatch 2 numbers.
Yeah.
Overwatch 2 had this many people. Yeah, well, Overwatch doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's all they can play now.
There's no comparative.
And that's it. That's it for the news.
The news. Anyway, so it's been 8 days. What you been up to?
Andor finished. Amazing show. I love it. Beating that drum. Everyone should watch it. Playing God of War. Playing lots of God of War. Having a hard time with that. I suck at video games. So, that's a realization I'm having to come to terms with. Which, who would have known, A skill that you don't practice for, I don't know how long, 6 to 12 months, somewhere's in that window. And then you start doing it again. Who would have thought that you'd suck at it? I didn't realize that's how life works. So
me driving after COVID.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, how do you do this?
What's this button do? Gas.
So that's been fun.
So I had to get the racing wheel.
Yeah, exactly. Got to practice.
We got to remember how to do that every now and then.
Yep.
Then I remember that I don't drive a Merc AMG GTR in my house. That does cause issues. No, but you're moving right along now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm moving along. It's just painful. Gets very upset. That's about it. I don't think I have anything else exciting to report on. Maybe in the future, maybe I'll have exciting news.
Reaching that month where you might be able to get some. Everything kind of slows down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, my next thing is I do want to play Stray because it'll be quick and it'll be easy and it's in the game of the year conversation.
Yeah.
And we'll see from there.
Fair enough.
What do you got?
I got Pain and Suffering at my favorite times.
Pain and Suffering.
Yeah, so we got the old World of Warcraft expansion on the way.
Mm-hmm.
So your boy's got no life come Monday night.
Yeah.
Except to enjoy WoW.
Which there's nothing wrong with that.
Nope. No one can tell me there
I'm low-key jealous that you have something that you're looking forward to and you're passionate about.
The joy has been killed out of this game. So yeah, there's that, and then that'll really be it. I'm ahead of you in God of War still, but I still have, I think, a ways to go. I'm probably looking at least 10 hours. Based on what I've heard for where other people that we know finished it, but I don't know how much side they did to get there, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I could be done at 10. I could be done at 5, and then find out that there's 13 extra.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So it's like I don't, because story wise, like as it's getting told, I'm like, okay, we're kind of at a point. Can we could. I don't.
I kind of suspect I think your number there is spot on. I think it's probably 5 and 10. Like, if you just focus on the main storyline, I bet it's 5 hours.
Yeah, potentially.
If you do the main storylines and extra, closer to 15 hours.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see what it's gonna end up being. I know I'm not gonna beat it before WoW comes out. I've accepted that fate.
Sucks for God of War.
It'll be all right because it'll be a good palate cleanse when I've
Yeah, what do you need?
nuked myself of staring at the WoW login screen for 72 hours straight. I'll be like, oh, I can look at something else now.
Are you doing a level push? Are you trying to
Yeah.
try to race a little bit to the max level again?
I'm trying to race myself, yeah.
Yeah.
I might not be number one on the friends list, but I'm gonna try to be as fast as I can.
And you better believe if he's number one on the friends list, he's gonna tell them they all fucking suck. And then he's number one.
Or at least you guys will all know it.
Yeah.
I don't think I will be though. I think there's other people that are gonna beat me. But it's whatever. It's just about getting to the end and then being max level and doing what I enjoy again, because I always, no matter what the game is, I hate leveling.
All about that end game.
All about that end game. Give me that end game. Because then if I'm going to want to play another character, I'm going to have to level again, and
yeah, that's no bueno.
That's the killer.
Well, yeah, you have
It's
how many
always-
people are you gonna have to level up? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We don't talk about that.
Yeah, no. Shh. Don't talk about that here. But no, that's about it, really.
Yeah. So what? Well, we'll talk about WoW prep after. So you have you're doing Football Manager still, right? Do anything crazy with that, or just normal Football Manager?
Oh, no, nothing. I was like crazy with it. No, nothing crazy. I'm almost done with the first season, I think.
Yeah.
I think I have like 5 or 6 games left in the season. So, moving right along, competing for first, way overachieving, way performing better than I should have.
You don't have that rogue element of Kenny in there. Fuck your shit up.
Yeah. I don't have him kicking my ass every 2 games in the season. Lost a couple weird ones that I can't explain. Won yesterday, I think. That was like really hyped about because it was a 2-leg game.
Mm-hmm.
So play one at their place, one at our place. They beat me 2-0 in their place. And I was like, shit. Because now I need to win. I need to at least get to 2-0 here to go to extras. 3-0 lets me win. And I was up 3-0. I was like, holy shit, we're winning. Then they scored 1, which is now an issue because we're 3-3, but the first tiebreaker is away goals. I believe that's still true. I can't remember if they changed the rules or not. But the first tiebreaker is away goals, which they have 1. I don't have any. So even though it's 3-3, I believe it's them favored. And then in stoppage time, I managed to bang in another one and it became 4-3 me. And I was just like, yes, let's go. Losing my mind a little bit. And I was really pumped. Sent Kenny that one. I was like, honestly, this is probably the most excited I've been in a game. So yeah, there's that. And otherwise, that's just kind of like a slow burn. That'll 100% get backseated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that takes lower priority than God of War and everything else.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be a fun week.
Should be. So what's
Next
the
episode is going to be, so have you slept? And I'm going to be like, well, yes and no.
So what do you got? Any crazy preps for Dragonflight?
Yeah, not really. Nothing that I'm doing insane compared to like what some people are doing.
Yeah.
Like some people are getting, movement things or potions or whatever else that they think might optimal routes, and some people are doing it with a group and going to go slam things. And I'm just like, I'm just going to kind of go through the quests and do what I do and
take it all in.
Same thing I've done in every expansion, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Exactly.
No, but it's just been get everybody to org, do like the little starting quest so when it goes live, I can just take off and go right to the zone and start, and bought the little reagent bag that they have now. Or reagent bag that they have now for crafting materials, just a spare bag. So it's like just minor things.
Yeah.
Just making sure we're clean up the bags, don't have a bunch of shit in your inventory. typical like housekeeping stuff going into a new expansion.
UI is settled.
Yep, UI is settled now. I have finally decided that it is good.
What's the what are they doing for the world first race? That's not for a couple weeks, I'm assuming.
There's
right?
one for the world first race to 70, but I don't give a shit.
When's the raids come out?
The 13th.
13th.
So there is a race to world first for that. But there's 1 to 70, and I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really
I mean, some people
doesn't care as much as
I think it's closer to being like memey than it is serious. I know some people are taking it seriously, but I'm just like, I don't. Man, I'm gonna hit 70 within 24 hours.
Yeah.
If I do everything I think I can, and I don't get like screwed over by Blizzard. So there's always a chance.
I'm sure we'll hear all about it.
But otherwise, yeah, it's just get there, do that, and then start trying to run dungeons and get the lay of the land and figure out what I need to do to get one character like really good and ready for that 13th week.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe start like get everybody else at least there to the capital city and be like, okay, cool, we're in the capital city. You guys are all now part of the new expansion. Stay there. I'll send you things to do crafting professions on. Just don't worry about leveling. You're just gonna literally sit in this city.
Mm-hmm.
This is your home now. You can't leave.
Are you planning on raiding with the same guild?
I have no plans to raid currently.
Oh, interesting.
I am letting them do whatever they're doing. The majority of my little group is also doing like things with other people and not doing things with them type of thing.
Mm.
So we'll all see. I might break down at some point and do some raiding. I might just do nothing but dungeons.
You'll break down at some point.
I probably will. I just don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because trying to find a guild right now is just kind of like, eh. And I don't really want to go through dealing with what I went with before.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I might just play free agent. Be like, oh, did you guys need a healer to come in for like a fight? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. All right. Deuces. Got a place to be. The maverick of the group.
Yeah. The
mercenary.
Yeah.
I come in, I kill boss, I leave.
Yeah. There you go. It's a plan.
It's a plan. I don't know if it'll work, but
more plans than I have.
All right, but that's all I got.
I got nothing.
Short week, but hey, it was a holiday, so enjoy those leftovers and enjoy more of the World Cup. And then we will see you in 6 days. Bye-bye.